On a typical afternoon, a dedicated FBI agent was driving home after a long and demanding day at work. He had spent hours investigating a case that had taken a toll on him. As he navigated through the city streets, he felt a sense of relief that he was finally on his way back to his family. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over everything, and for a moment, he felt a wave of gratitude for the work he did and the life he had. Suddenly, flashing lights lit up his rearview mirror, pulling him out of his thoughts. Confused, he pulled over to the side of the road, wondering why he was being stopped. As he waited for the officer to approach, he took a deep breath, reminding himself to stay calm. After all, he had nothing to hide. He was just a hard-working agent trying to get home. The police officer stepped out of the cruiser, approaching with a stern expression. As the officer got closer, he glanced at the agent's hair, his dreadlocks, and his demeanor changed. Instead of a polite greeting, the officer made a derogatory comment about his hairstyle, questioning why someone in a professional position would wear their hair like that. The agent felt a rush of anger. He had always worn his hair this way, a part of his identity and culture, and it had never interfered with his ability to do his job. "I'm an FBI agent," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. He presented his badge, hoping this would end the uncomfortable exchange. But instead of showing respect for his role, the officer scoffed and continued to grill him. The agent could feel the humiliation creeping in. He had faced challenges before, but this felt different. He was being judged not for his skills or dedication, but for his appearance. Despite his frustration, the agent maintained his composure. He tried to explain his role, emphasizing that he was committed to serving the community. But the officer seemed more interested in making snide remarks than listening. It was clear that he was letting his personal biases get in the way of his duty. As more officers arrived on the scene, the situation grew even more uncomfortable. They joined in the mockery, adding to the agent's sense of shame. The laughter from the officers felt like a knife to his pride. This was not just a traffic stop, it was a moment that would leave a lasting mark. The agent's heart raced as he tried to focus on the conversation, but all he could think about was how unfair this was. The humiliation was overwhelming. He had dedicated his life to protecting and serving, yet here he was, being treated like a criminal because of his hairstyle. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the officers decided to let him go. As he drove away, he felt a mixture of anger and sadness. This encounter lingered in his mind. He knew he couldn't let it go. It wasn't just about him. It was about the broader issues of respect and acceptance in society. He realized he had a story to tell, one that could shine a light on the prejudices many faced. Little did he know, this moment would become a catalyst for change, not just in his life, but for others who felt marginalized. As he pulled into his driveway, he took a deep breath, knowing he would not stay silent. He would take action, turning this painful experience into a powerful message for justice and understanding. After the distressing encounter with the police, the FBI agent arrived home feeling heavy with emotions. He stepped inside and was greeted by the familiar warmth of his family. His children were playing in the living room, their laughter filling the air, and his partner was in the kitchen preparing dinner. For a moment, the chaos of the day faded away, but the sting of humiliation still lingered in his heart. As he sat down with his family, he tried to put on a brave face, but his partner noticed something was off. "You look troubled. What happened?" they asked, concern etched on their face. The agent took a deep breath and shared the story of the traffic stop, explaining how he had been treated disrespectfully because of his dreadlocks. As he spoke, he could feel the anger and hurt bubbling to the surface. It was difficult to recount, but he knew he had to let it out. His partner listened intently, nodding in understanding. "That's awful. No one should have to go through that, especially someone who serves and protects others," they said, a hint of disbelief in their voice. The agent felt a bit of relief in sharing his experience, but he also knew this was just the beginning. He couldn't shake the feeling that he needed to do more than just complain about the incident. It was time to take action. The next day at work, he couldn't focus. He kept replaying the events in his mind, feeling frustrated that so many people faced similar situations. He decided to talk to a few trusted colleagues, hoping to find support. In a small meeting room, he gathered a group of fellow agents, sharing what had happened during the traffic stop. To his surprise, many of them had their own stories of facing judgment based on their appearance. The room buzzed with emotions, frustration, anger, and determination. One agent spoke up, sharing how their hairstyle had led to unfair treatment during an investigation. Another discussed the bias they faced due to their ethnicity. As they exchanged stories, a sense of camaraderie developed. It was clear that this was a common issue, not just isolated to his experience. Together, they began to brainstorm ideas on how to address the problem. Inspired by their discussion, the group decided to take a stand. They began drafting a letter to their superiors, detailing their experiences and urging for changes within the department. They wanted to implement sensitivity training for all officers, emphasizing the importance of respecting diversity in appearance. It felt good to be working together toward a common goal, and the agent felt a sense of purpose rising within him. As the weeks passed, their letter gained traction. The agents organized meetings, bringing in speakers to talk about bias and discrimination in law enforcement. They opened the floor for others to share their experiences, creating a safe space for dialogue. The more they spoke about the issues, the more they realized how necessary this conversation was. It wasn't just about the agent's incident, it was about changing the culture within the entire department. The police chief eventually took notice of their efforts. Impressed by the agent's determination, the chief agreed to meet with them. During the meeting, the agent spoke passionately about the need for respect and understanding in law enforcement. He shared stories from his colleagues, emphasizing that everyone should feel safe and respected, regardless of how they looked. To the agent's relief, the chief acknowledged the problem and promised to implement new training programs. They discussed plans for community outreach to strengthen relationships with the public. The agent felt a wave of hope wash over him. Perhaps, just perhaps, they could create real change. As he left the meeting, he felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. He realized that while the incident had been painful, it had also sparked something powerful within him and his colleagues. Together, they were standing up for what was right, transforming their negative experiences into a force for good. The journey ahead would be challenging, but he was ready to face it, knowing he was not alone. As time went on, the agent felt a renewed sense of purpose. The meetings with his colleagues and the support from the police chief motivated him to push for change within the department. They were gaining momentum, and each day it brought new opportunities to spread awareness about the importance of diversity and respect in law enforcement. One day, the agent received a call from a local community group that wanted to collaborate on a forum about police and community relations. They had heard about the positive changes happening within the department and were eager to discuss how to build trust between law enforcement and the public. The agent felt excited at the prospect. This was a chance to make an even bigger impact. When the day of the forum arrived, he walked into the community center, ready to share his message. The room was packed with people from different backgrounds, eager to engage in conversations about their experiences with law enforcement. The agent could feel the energy in the room. There was a mix of anticipation and apprehension. This was an important moment for both the community and the officers who had come to listen and learn. As he took the stage, the agent felt a rush of nerves, but also a strong sense of responsibility. He began by recounting his own story, the traffic stop that had opened his eyes to the biases that still existed in their society. He spoke from the heart, sharing how the encounter had affected him and why it was essential for everyone to be treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their appearance. Throughout his speech, he saw nods of understanding from the audience. Some people even shared their own stories of encounters with police, expressing their feelings of fear and mistrust. The agent listened carefully, knowing that these stories were crucial to understanding the issues at hand. It was clear that this forum was a safe space for people to voice their feelings. After the discussion, the agent noticed several community members approaching him. They thanked him for speaking out and shared their gratitude for the police department's efforts to change. One woman told him about how she had experienced racial profiling in the past and how painful it had been for her family. The agent listened closely, offering support and reassurance that they were working hard to make things better. As the forum continued, they broke into smaller groups to discuss specific topics related to policing and community relations. The agent facilitated a group that focused on building trust. Participants shared ideas on how to improve communication between officers and residents. They talked about creating community events where people could get to know their local officers outside of high-pressure situations. The agent felt inspired by the creativity and passion in the room. After the event, the agent and his colleagues met to discuss the feedback they had received. Many people expressed a desire for more forums like this one, and the agent felt motivated to organize more community events. He realized that building trust and understanding was not a one-time effort, but an ongoing process that required dedication from everyone involved. In the following weeks, the agent and his team began planning a series of community outreach events. They organized workshops that focused on cultural sensitivity and community engagement. They reached out to schools, churches, and local organizations, eager to involve as many people as possible. Each event provided an opportunity for officers to connect with residents, fostering relationships that were rooted in trust. The agent felt proud to be part of this initiative. He saw firsthand how their efforts were making a difference. People began to express their appreciation for the police department's commitment to change, and the agent felt hopeful. With every event, they were not just addressing issues of bias, but also building a bridge between law enforcement and the community. Through these efforts, the agent learned that real change takes time and perseverance, but he was ready for the challenge. Each step forward, no matter how small, was a victory in the fight for respect and understanding. As he looked ahead, he felt a sense of determination. Together, they could create a safer and more inclusive environment for everyone. As the series of community outreach events continued, the FBI agent felt a growing sense of hope and excitement. Each gathering brought together people from different backgrounds, all eager to engage in honest conversations about their experiences with law enforcement. The agent loved seeing the smiles on people's faces as they started to trust the officers in their community. One sunny Saturday morning, they held an event at a local park. Families arrived with picnic baskets, kids ran around playing games, and laughter filled the air. The agent and his colleagues set up booths with information about community programs, safety tips, and resources for anyone who needed help. It felt good to see everyone coming together in such a positive environment. As the event began, the agent stood at the front, welcoming everyone and explaining the purpose of the day. He talked about how important it was for the police and the community to work together. He encouraged everyone to share their thoughts and feelings, reminding them that their voices mattered. The crowd listened attentively, nodding in agreement. After his speech, the agent walked around, talking to families and answering questions. A young mother approached him, her daughter shyly standing behind her. "Thank you for doing this," she said. "I feel like we can finally talk to you without fear." The agent smiled, appreciating her honesty. This was exactly the kind of connection they were trying to build. Throughout the day, the agent noticed small groups forming, with officers and community members chatting and laughing together. He could see the walls that had once separated them beginning to break down. People were sharing stories about their lives, and the officers were listening with genuine interest. It warmed the agent's heart to witness this kind of openness. As the afternoon wore on, they organized a friendly soccer match between local kids and a team of officers. The laughter and cheers filled the park as families gathered to watch. The agent joined in, kicking the ball around and playing with the kids. He felt a sense of joy and fulfillment. This was what community was all about, coming together, having fun, and building relationships. After the match, they set up a panel discussion where community members could ask questions and express their concerns directly to the police officers. The agent moderated the panel, ensuring that everyone had a chance to speak. Some questions were tough, and the agents answered honestly, acknowledging past mistakes and promising to do better. One young man spoke up, sharing his own experience of being stopped by the police. He expressed how it had made him feel vulnerable and frightened. The agent listened carefully, nodding in understanding. "We want to change that," he said. "We want you to feel safe and respected." The crowd responded with applause, showing their support for the discussion and the officer's commitment to improving. As the event came to a close, the agent felt a deep sense of accomplishment. The positive energy was palpable. People were leaving with smiles, and he overheard conversations about future events and the desire to continue the dialogue. That evening, he reflected on how far they had come. Just a few months ago, he had felt humiliated during that traffic stop. Now, he was helping to foster understanding and respect within his community. The journey was far from over, but he was grateful for the progress they had made. The agent realized that every conversation, every event, and every connection was a step toward a better future. He knew that it was important to keep pushing for change, not just for himself, but for everyone who felt marginalized. With renewed determination, he looked ahead, ready to continue the work of building bridges between the police and the community. Each person mattered, and together, they could create a safer, more inclusive world for everyone. As the community outreach events continued to gain popularity, the FBI agent felt a sense of purpose that he had never experienced before. Each gathering was not just about talking. It was about creating real connections and understanding between law enforcement and the community. He found himself looking forward to each event, eager to see familiar faces and meet new ones. One weekend, they organized a community cleanup day. The agent thought this would be a great opportunity for the police to team up with local residents for a good cause. He knew that working together would strengthen their bond while also beautifying the neighborhood. The day started early, with volunteers gathering at the local community center. Some brought trash bags, others had brooms and shovels, while a few even came with snacks to share. As the agent arrived, he was greeted with warm smiles and waves. He felt a sense of belonging among these people. After a brief introduction, they divided into groups, each assigned to different areas of the neighborhood. The agent joined a group of kids and their parents, all excited to make a difference. As they walked down the streets, they chatted and laughed, joking about who could pick up the most trash. During the cleanup, the agent noticed how enthusiastic the children were. They ran from one spot to another, picking up litter and proudly showing their findings. "Look, I found a soda can," one boy exclaimed, holding it high like a trophy. The agent couldn't help but smile at their excitement. This was more than just cleaning. It was about teaching the younger generation the importance of taking care of their community. As the day progressed, the agent took the opportunity to talk with the parents. He listened to their concerns about safety and how they wanted their kids to feel secure while playing outside. Many shared stories of past encounters with police, some good and some not so good. The agent listened without judgment, appreciating their honesty. Each story was a reminder of why they were all working together to build a better future for their children. At lunchtime, the group gathered for a break. The smell of barbecue filled the air as everyone shared food and laughter. The agent took a moment to look around and soak in the atmosphere. People were enjoying themselves, talking to each other, and forming connections that would last beyond this day. It was heartwarming to see how the barriers between officers and community members were slowly disappearing. After lunch, they wrapped up the cleanup and took a moment to admire their hard work. The neighborhood looked cleaner and brighter, but more importantly, the relationships that had formed during the day felt strong and meaningful. The agent spoke up, thanking everyone for their efforts and emphasizing how important it was to work together. He reminded them that the cleanup was just one of many steps they could take to improve their community. As the event ended, many people expressed their desire to do more activities together. A few parents suggested organizing sports events for kids, while others wanted to hold more community forums. The agent felt a surge of excitement at their enthusiasm. This was just the beginning of a beautiful partnership between law enforcement and the community. In the weeks that followed, they scheduled more events. The agent helped organize youth sports leagues where officers could coach and mentor kids. They also planned more cleanup days and educational workshops on safety and crime prevention. Each event brought new faces and voices into the fold, and with each gathering, the community grew stronger. The agent saw how vital it was to keep the momentum going. He was no longer just an FBI agent. He had become a part of something bigger, a movement for change. Each day, he witnessed the power of connection, understanding, and cooperation. With every event, he knew they were building trust and paving the way for a brighter future. The agent felt hopeful that, together, they could create a community where everyone felt safe and respected, regardless of their background. And as he looked ahead, he was ready to continue this journey, knowing that every small step made a big difference. As the weeks turned into months, the community outreach initiatives continued to flourish. The FBI agent felt a deep sense of pride watching how people from different walks of life came together to make a difference. Each event was not just a gathering. It was a celebration of unity, understanding, and shared goals. The agent found himself deeply invested in these efforts, and he knew that they were changing lives. One day, they decided to host a family fun day at the local park. The idea was to create a relaxed environment where families could enjoy activities together while getting to know their local police officers in a friendly setting. The agent and his team worked tirelessly to plan everything. They arranged for games, face painting, food stalls, and even a talent show where community members could showcase their skills. On the day of the event, the park was buzzing with excitement. Families set up picnic blankets under the trees, and children ran around, eager to join in the fun. The agent arrived early to help set up and was greeted by a wave of familiar faces. People from previous events approached him, thanking him for organizing such a wonderful day. It warmed his heart to see how much they appreciated these efforts. As the day began, the agent kicked off the event with a brief welcome speech. He thanked everyone for coming and emphasized how important it was for the community to come together. He highlighted the strength that lies in unity and the positive impact they could make by working together. The crowd cheered, and he could see the smiles on their faces, filled with hope and excitement. The activities began, and the park quickly transformed into a lively carnival. Kids lined up for face painting, while others took part in sack races and tug-of-war games. The agent joined in the fun, participating in the games and enjoying the laughter that surrounded him. He even tried his hand at face painting, much to the amusement of the children, who giggled at his attempts to create colorful designs. Later in the afternoon, the talent show kicked off. Community members took turns showcasing their skills, whether it was singing, dancing, or even performing magic tricks. The agent was amazed by the variety of talents in the community. The audience cheered and clapped for each performer, creating an atmosphere of encouragement and celebration. One young girl sang a beautiful song that brought tears to the eyes of many, including the agent. He realized that moments like these showed the heart of the community, how diverse talents and backgrounds could come together to create something magical. After each performance, the audience offered heartfelt applause, making everyone feel appreciated and valued. As the sun began to set, the agent took a moment to reflect on the day. He felt overwhelmed with gratitude for the connections being forged and the joy that filled the park. Families were sharing meals, children were making new friends, and laughter echoed throughout the area. This was what it meant to build a community, a place where everyone felt included and respected. At the end of the event, the agent gathered everyone for a final thank you. He expressed how proud he was of the community for coming together and making this day a success. "This is just the beginning," he said, smiling. "Let's keep this momentum going and continue to support each other." As people began to pack up, Many approached the agent with ideas for future events. Some suggested cooking classes, while others wanted to host workshops on topics like financial literacy or health awareness. The agent was excited by the enthusiasm and took note of every suggestion. He realized that the community was ready for more activities, more learning, and more connections. In the weeks that followed, the agent and his team worked on organizing these new initiatives. They reached out to local experts who could lead workshops and secured spaces for future events. The agent was grateful for the support of his colleagues, who were equally invested in creating positive change. As he looked ahead, the agent felt a sense of responsibility and determination. He knew that the journey was far from over, but with each event, they were breaking down barriers and fostering understanding. They were not just changing perceptions, they were creating a community where everyone could thrive. With every small step they took, he believed they were building a brighter future for everyone involved. As the agent and his team continued their work in the community, the excitement surrounding their initiatives never faded. Every event they hosted brought new energy and new ideas. People were eager to participate, and it felt like a wave of positivity was washing over the neighborhood. It was clear that the relationships they were building were making a real impact. One chilly Saturday morning, the agent decided to host a community wellness day. The idea was to focus on health and well-being, providing resources and information to the residents. The agent believed that good health was essential for a thriving community, and he wanted to create an event where families could learn about wellness together. The day began early, with the agent and his colleagues setting up tables filled with information about nutrition, exercise, mental health, and more. They invited local healthcare professionals to join, ensuring that community members had access to valuable resources. The agent felt excited as he saw the turnout grow. Families arrived, bundled up in coats, ready to learn and engage. As the event started, the agent welcomed everyone and explained the importance of taking care of their health. He talked about how physical and mental well-being were interconnected and how small changes could lead to big improvements in their lives. The crowd listened intently, nodding as he spoke. It was heartwarming to see so many people committed to learning about their health. After the introduction, the families broke into smaller groups to participate in different activities. Some attended a cooking demonstration focused on healthy meals, while others took part in a yoga session designed for beginners. The agent joined the cooking demonstration, watching as a local chef shared tips on preparing nutritious meals with simple ingredients. People gathered around, eager to learn and ask questions. In another area, the yoga instructor guided participants through gentle stretches and breathing exercises. The agent could see how much everyone appreciated the opportunity to relax and focus on their well-being. Parents were enjoying time with their children, and the atmosphere was filled with laughter and joy. As the day progressed, the agent noticed a group of teenagers gathered at a booth focused on mental health. A local therapist was there, offering advice and resources. The agent approached the booth, curious to see how the teens were engaging with the topic. He overheard them discussing stress management techniques and the importance of talking about mental health openly. Seeing the teens participate made the agent proud. It showed that they were starting to understand that mental health was just as important as physical health. The therapist encouraged them to ask questions and share their thoughts, creating an open dialogue. The agent realized that breaking the stigma around mental health was essential, and he was glad to see the community taking steps in the right direction. As the event wrapped up, families began to gather for a closing ceremony. The agent expressed his gratitude to everyone who participated, emphasizing the importance of supporting one another in their health journeys. He encouraged them to take what they learned and share it with their friends and families. Together, we can build a healthier community, he said, his voice filled with hope. The crowd responded with cheers, showing their enthusiasm and commitment to making a difference. As families left, many stopped to thank the agent for organizing the day. They shared stories about what they had learned and expressed interest in attending more events like this in the future. The agent felt a sense of fulfillment. They were not just creating events. They were creating a culture of wellness and support. In the weeks that followed, the agent and his team received positive feedback about the Wellness Day. People were eager for more workshops and activities focused on health. The agent felt inspired to expand their efforts, reaching out to local organizations and healthcare providers to develop a comprehensive health program for the community. With each new initiative, the agent knew they were not just changing lives, they were transforming the very fabric of their community. They were fostering a sense of belonging, care, and support that would continue to grow. And as he looked ahead, the agent felt excited about what the future held, ready to embrace new challenges and opportunities to make a lasting impact. As the community initiatives flourished, the agent felt an unwavering commitment to nurturing the bonds that had formed. Each event was a new chance to engage with residents, to listen, and to learn. With so much positive momentum, the agent decided to focus on an issue that many had mentioned: education. He understood that knowledge was a powerful tool that could uplift individuals and strengthen the entire community. To kick off this new focus, the agent organized an educational fair at the local school. He envisioned a day where students, parents, and community members could come together to explore various educational resources. The fair would feature local schools, colleges, and training programs, showcasing opportunities for everyone. The agent believed that education could open doors and change lives, and he wanted to ensure that every person had access to the information they needed to succeed. On the day of the fair, the school was buzzing with energy. Banners were hung, and tables were set up in the gymnasium, filled with brochures, pamphlets, and information about different educational programs. The agent arrived early, excited to see how many people would participate. As families started to arrive, he welcomed them with a warm smile, directing them to the various booths. The fair featured representatives from local colleges and vocational schools, each eager to share what they offered. There were also workshops throughout the day, covering topics like resume writing, interview skills, and financial aid options. The agent felt a sense of pride seeing so many organizations willing to help the community. Parents and students wandered from booth to booth, asking questions and gathering information. The atmosphere was lively, filled with curiosity and hope. The agent noticed a group of high school students deep in conversation with a college representative. They were discussing scholarship opportunities and how to prepare for college applications. It warmed his heart to see young people taking such initiative for their futures. In one corner, the agent spotted a booth dedicated to adult education programs. A local community college was providing information about courses available for those looking to improve their skills or change careers. The agent approached a few adults who were chatting with the representative. They spoke about wanting to learn new skills to enhance their job prospects. The agent could see the determination in their eyes, and it reminded him of how important education was at every stage of life. Throughout the day, the agent made it a point to check in with everyone, ensuring they felt supported and heard. He encouraged families to ask questions and engage in conversations. Many parents expressed gratitude for the fair, sharing how they had been searching for resources to help their children succeed. It was clear that this event was fulfilling a need in the community. As the fair progressed, the agent hosted a panel discussion featuring educators and local leaders. They shared their stories, emphasizing the value of education and lifelong learning. The audience listened intently as they discussed the challenges and rewards of pursuing education. The agent facilitated the discussion, inviting questions from the crowd. He loved seeing the engagement and enthusiasm for learning. At the end of the day, the agent gathered everyone for a closing ceremony. He thanked the participants and the local organizations for their contributions. "Education is a journey we all share," he said, his voice filled with passion. "Let's continue to support each other and make learning a lifelong commitment." The crowd erupted in applause, and he felt a sense of accomplishment. As families began to leave, many approached the agent to express their appreciation. They shared how much they had learned and how eager they were to take the next steps in their educational journeys. The agent felt fulfilled, knowing that the fair had sparked hope and ambition in so many. In the weeks that followed, the agent received numerous emails and messages from families thanking him for the fair. Many expressed interest in starting study groups or workshops based on what they learned. The agent felt a renewed sense of purpose. He began planning follow-up events to keep the momentum going, knowing that the journey of education was just beginning for many in the community. With every event, the agent was reminded of the importance of connection, support, and the power of education. He was proud to be part of a community that was eager to learn and grow together. As he looked to the future, he was excited about the endless possibilities and the chance to continue making a meaningful difference in the lives of those around him. As the agent continued his efforts in the community, he noticed a growing eagerness among residents to learn and engage. The success of the educational fair inspired him to think of new ways to keep the momentum going. He realized that while education was crucial, so was the idea of mentorship. People in the community could benefit from guidance from those who had been through similar experiences. With this in mind, the agent decided to launch a mentorship program. He envisioned a platform where experienced individuals could connect with younger people or those seeking career changes. The aim was to foster relationships that would help guide, inspire, and empower community members. The agent reached out to local organizations, schools, and professionals, inviting them to participate in this new initiative. On the day of the program's kickoff, the atmosphere was filled with excitement. The agents set up a comfortable space where mentors and mentees could interact. The room was decorated with bright colors and inspiring quotes about growth and learning. The agent welcomed everyone, explaining the purpose of the program and how it could make a real difference in people's lives. As the participants arrived, the agent noticed a mix of nervousness and enthusiasm in the air. Many mentees were unsure about what to expect, while mentors looked forward to sharing their experiences. The agent encouraged everyone to take a deep breath and embrace the opportunity. "This is a safe space for growth," he reassured them. "It's all about learning from one another." The agent began the event by sharing his own journey and the mentors who had helped him along the way. He spoke about the importance of having someone to turn to for advice, support, and encouragement. The stories he shared resonated with the audience, and it helped to ease the tension in the room. After his introduction, the agent facilitated small group discussions. Mentees were paired with mentors who shared similar interests or career paths. As they talked, the agent walked around, observing the conversations and smiling at the connections being made. It was heartening to see how quickly relationships began to form. In one corner, a young woman expressed her dreams of starting her own business. Her mentor, an experienced entrepreneur, shared practical advice and stories about the challenges and successes he faced. The agent could see the spark of inspiration in her eyes as she absorbed every word. In another group, a high school student shared her concerns about college applications, and her mentor, who had recently gone through the process, offered valuable tips and reassurance. As the event continued, the agent noticed the energy in the room grow. Participants were laughing, sharing personal stories, and asking questions. The connections made during this time felt genuine and meaningful. It became clear that everyone was eager to learn and grow together. At the end of the session, the agent gathered everyone to reflect on their experiences. He encouraged participants to share what they had learned and how they felt about the mentorship process. Many expressed gratitude for the guidance they received, while others shared newfound motivation to pursue their goals. The agent felt a wave of happiness wash over him. This was exactly what he had hoped for: a supportive environment where everyone could thrive. As the program wrapped up, many participants exchanged contact information, promising to stay in touch. The agent watched with pride as mentors and mentees made plans to meet again. He knew that the bonds created today would lead to lasting friendships and support. In the weeks that followed, the mentorship program grew. More people signed up, eager to either become mentors or find guidance. The agent worked hard to maintain the connections and ensure everyone felt included. He organized regular check-ins and additional workshops to keep the momentum alive. The impact of the program was palpable. People were beginning to share success stories, whether it was landing a job, gaining confidence, or simply feeling supported in their endeavors. The agent saw how mentorship transformed lives, creating a ripple effect that strengthened the entire community. With every event, he felt more connected to the people around him. He was grateful for the opportunity to facilitate these meaningful interactions and witness the growth of so many individuals. As he looked toward the future, the agent was excited about the endless possibilities. He knew that by working together and supporting one another, they could build a thriving community where everyone had the chance to succeed.